Hi, I'm Nikki.
And I'm Megan.
Welcome to the Grimdark Diaries.
We are your geek gal pals obsessed with true crime and all things dark and disturbing. Welcome back, everybody. I am so excited to be sharing this next story with you. But before we get into the next story, I have to share, I am having a few glasses of wine.
How many, Megan?
I currently am on my third.
But how full is the glass?
Okay, well, we won't talk about the glass size. It's on the glass, it says, I drink and I know things. Do you know where that's from?
Game of Thrones.
Heck yes. In the good seasons, of course. We won't talk about the last seasons.
You know what? I don't want to get off on a rant here, and I hate when I listen to podcasts and they talk about TV and it's not TV I listen to.
Fair enough.
I think it was just not fleshed out enough, but it wasn't awful.
No, you know what? If I didn't have the expectations that I did for how it was supposed to turn out or how I felt it should have turned out, I feel like I would have enjoyed it a lot more.
Yeah.
But I was really disappointed in the way that it ended. Again, we're not going to get into this too deeply, but that probably was one of my favorite shows for the amount of time that it was on the air. I have a Game of Thrones map over my couch. I will never get rid of.
Beautiful.
I absolutely love it. It is a piece of decor. It's one of the only pieces of decor other than my nieces and nephews' drawings on my wall that I have up because I love it so much. But yeah, I drink and I know things. That is something that Tyrion said in the show, and I absolutely love it. I also drink and know things, and I am drinking this evening.
I sure hope you know things, because it's your turn to speak.
I hope I'm going to speak efficiently this evening. We're going to try and see what we can do.
Hopefully the wine didn't muddle your tongue.
No, I think I'm good. You know what? I feel like I'm one of those people that gets better with wine. Like wine, I get better with age.
Oh.
So this time I'm actually getting better with more wine.
The more I drink, the harder it is for me to read.
That's totally fair.
So when it's your week to read,
I'll just have a few drinks.
I'm on my. You're gonna have. Megan just drinks for no matter whose week it is to read.
And I never did before we started doing this podcast, but I will tell you right now, it has been one hell of a week, and I think that having a few drinks is totally fine.
I need this vodka I have in front of me more than I've needed most things in my entire life because I am so stressed. I was telling Megan, I've been having the kind of week where I am so flat out busy with so many different things that today I had to make a choice between eating food or taking a shower. But then, surprise, I worked late and I got to choose neither. So I have not showered, nor have I eaten food, but I did put I put 2 cans of vodka in my backpack when I went to house viewings. So I was walking around. I was walking around the house viewing with my realtor being like, oh God, if he doesn't hear the vodka sloshing in my backpack. I swear I'm a professional. Also, update, I still don't have a house and the market is awful and it's
getting worse, you said.
It's literally everything is getting more expensive and first-time home buyers are just literally being thrown to the fire.
That blows me away. I cannot understand how the prices are going over $100,000 more than their asking price right now.
It's insanity.
And it's gotta be because of people moving here from out of province.
Yeah.
And cities that can afford that kind of price for a house, because I know Nova Scotians really in general cannot afford that type of
it's absurd
house. It's not the house, but the amount of money being put on the houses here right now.
It's literally absurd. They're being priced at $100,000 over assessed value, and then they're getting offered $100,000 over that. So they're selling for $200,000 over assessed.
That is insane.
Yes, and I do not have that kind of money.
No kidding. Who does?
I work very hard for my money. And I do not have the amount to spend that I need. So I'm going to end up living in, I don't know what. I'm not going to settle. I say that now, but as every week goes by, I panic more. And I'm like, it's fine. I'll put an offer on this one.
It's true. And but you shouldn't settle, in my opinion. You have it fine where you are right now. I don't know, obviously, if you wanted to start a family or whatever the case may be going forward, you may not want to do that where you are. But I think settling is a bad idea.
Well, it is because I would end up buying a very expensive house that is overvalued.
That and, well, one, resale would be difficult because if the market does ever slow down, you might not get what you paid for it. And you would probably want to move in a very short amount of time as opposed to settling down there and, you know, raising your family. So that isn't always a good thing either, but...
No, but I'm stressed, and I'm gonna...
Yeah.
I viewed a house yesterday, and I liked it, so I'm gonna put an offer on it.
Yay!
And you'll find out next week
You
if
sent me the pictures. It was beautiful.
It was very
house.
nice.
Very, very nice. I really, fingers crossed, hope you get that.
I had good vibes in there. I didn't feel a ghost, so that was a little sad because I really like a ghost. I want a haunted house.
I'm feeling the ghost vibes right now.
I want it because then you don't just get a house, you get like a gift with purchase.
That's right, exactly. It's constantly the gift that keeps on giving.
I love when I go somewhere and I get a gift with purchase, and if you bought a house and it came with a ghost, it's like a gift with purchase.
We would have stories every time we started a podcast.
Yeah, and I've specifically been looking for houses that have enough extra rooms that I can have a pod lab so that we can record in it.
We need to have a pod lab. That is necessary. My apartment is not good enough.
No, Megan has a lovely apartment, but there's a lot of noises happening.
A lot of noises. I have a lot of noisy neighbors. I have a cat that is very needy, and she is constantly meowing for attention. She loves Nikki, by the way.
Spoilers, I don't like her.
Who is not a fan of cats. So, of course, I'm
allergic. I'm not a bad person. I'm just allergic.
And that's what draws Leia to her. My cat's name is Leia, by the way. And that's what draws her to Nikki, because she loves it when people don't pay attention to her, apparently. Apparently, it's a feline thing. I read somewhere that the reason why cats go to people who shun them away is because that is what they do in their feline world. They tend to ignore each other on a regular basis, and that is how they communicate. So when you're ignoring a cat, they're drawn to that because that is how they tend to, what do? They
make gangs.
Make gangs, thank you. I'm like,
that's what Megan told me. I don't know. Megan told me I'm in a gang with her cat.
That's right. Nikki and my cat are in a gang right now. So they kind of leave me out when Nikki comes over. I am basically chopped liver when Nikki comes over. It
explains why whenever I go to houses with people that have cats, I ignore them because I cannot touch them. And they just always are drawn to me, even though everyone's like, come here, kitty.
Exactly.
Like trying to pet it. It's like running away and just getting all up in my grill.
They do not want to go to the person
and the more I ignore them, the more they're like, pay attention to me.
It's so true.
Even though people are like, here, I'll pet you. And they're like, no, I must go to the one that does not want me.
Exactly.
I thought they could smell my fear, but apparently we're just in gangs.
No.
I have so many cat gangs then. Am I like the leader of a lot of cat gangs? Did we just figure that out?
I think so. You're like I don't want to call you an alpha because that indicates a male. But
I'm the alpha kitty. It does not indicate a male.
I thought it did. Alpha. Oh, because I'm thinking of alpha male. You're literally that.
Okay, Megan, put the wine down.
I mean, I don't really talk about this stuff very often, so.
No, I'm the alpha kitty.
Alpha kitty, yeah, totally. I believe it. Yeah. She follows you around. She meows at you. She tries to go home with you at the end of the night.
Yeah, I'm going to put that on my business card.
Yeah. The alpha kitty.
Do you think it'll help me get a house?
I mean, only if you, send pictures to the owner. Hey, send pictures of my cat
of my kitty? Megan!
That's inappropriate. Not your kitty.
I think that would get me banned from purchasing houses.
No. This went in a direction I was not expecting. I meant my cat. You can send, not my kitty, my cat, Leia.
Megan, this is getting really outside. All right. I think you should wrap this up and tell us about some true crime to make my week better.
But first I wanted to talk about how I feel like I either have a ghost or somebody breaking into my apartment, because I think I have one or the other. I had discovered that there was a can of cat food. This sounds so stupid when I say it out loud, but I had a can of cat food that was on my counter because my cat is on medication right now, and I give her pill, and then I have to immediately give her a can of food so that she can have food with her medicine. And there was one day I in the morning, I gave her her pill and I gave her some food. And then I took note of how many cans were left so that I could calculate how much she had left and if I needed to buy more, etc., etc. And then I went out for a little bit. This was on Sunday. I went out for a little bit to meet up with a friend. And then I came back and the can of food was gone. And it is a few days later now, and I have not found this can of food. I checked in the cupboards. I checked in my fridge. I checked on my bookshelf. I checked in my room, in my drawers. I have literally checked everywhere. Because you know how sometimes you like misplace something and then you're like,
oh, yes.
It could be literally anywhere. I have checked all of those places. I've checked in my purse. I don't know where the hell it could have gone, but I have not found it. So I am under the impression that I have either someone who has come into my apartment and stole my cat's cat food, which sounds ridiculous when I say it out loud, or I have a ghost and they have hidden it on me and I don't know where it is.
See, that's great. You got your gift with rental.
Did I? I lost like a $5 can of cat food.
Yeah, but maybe they're doing other good things for you and you don't know.
I mean, that's very possible.
Maybe they're watching over you.
Warding off all the evil spirits that are trying to attack me because I'm such a wholesome and innocent person.
Maybe there was something wrong with that can of cat food and they were saving your cat by getting rid of it. You should check if there's any recalls. Maybe that's what happened.
That's actually not a bad thought.
Right? Or maybe there was like a bug in it or something.
Interesting. Ew, that's disgusting.
I don't know.
She probably would have enjoyed the bug, though.
I'm spitballing here.
I'm actually intrigued. I would like to know more about this. I'm going to look up the recall thing because that's actually not a bad idea. It's very possible that there could have been a recall and the ghost is saving me from that.
There you go. Good ghost. If they could have a friend they could send to whatever house I purchased, that would be great.
Yeah, I will definitely get on that for you and let you know how that goes.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. Anything for you, Nikki.
Hey, thanks.
Okay, I'm going to jump into my story. So this is, if you all remember last week, I rolled for the category Speak of the Devil. So I'm going to dive right in. Today, I decided to go a bit of a different direction with this category. There are so many satanic panic stories out there. I looked them up and there was like the originals, like Richard Ramirez or whatever his name is. And what was it? Derek Eccles or Darian Eccles?
Darian.
Yeah. So
he was that. Don't even get me started on that.
Listen,
case. We're not going to do it because it's
started. Yes, exactly. I had started looking into that one and then I realized how well done it was. So I decided not to do it. But I read that story and it's the first time I'd ever heard of it.
It's one of the biggest cases of wrongly in West Memphis 3.
Yes.
In my personal opinion, one of the biggest cases of wrongly imprisoned ever. And those poor boys lost most of their lives to prison, and I do not think that they committed that crime.
No, that was...
You can Google that because it's been done by a lot of podcasts, so we're not going to cover that.
We'll never do it here. So yeah, you can definitely Google it. But man, that took me on a whirlwind when I read that. So there were so many satanic panic stories, and you had mentioned it last week as well. There are so many stories out there, but they have been so well done over and over and over again. So they've been done and outdone over and over again. So I wanted to touch on something that was very devil-like. And where I come from, the devil would have been incredibly pleased with these individuals. Death can mean so many different things for people. For some people, life ends then and there, while others believe angels will come from heaven to carry us home. Others believe that there are otherworldly shadows ready and waiting to steal our souls when we die. What does this mean for you? In Mexico, there is Santa Muerte. Santa Muerte means the saint of death. This image of death can be depicted as a female skeletal figure dressed in a bridal gown and sometimes holding a scythe, similar to the Grim Reaper we are also used to seeing as the image of death. She is considered to be both a saint and a demon, depending on who you ask. This image should not be confused with La Catrina, a popular figure and one of the strongest symbols of the Day of the Dead celebrations. La Catrina is a skeleton figure dressed in a fancy hat with feathers and striking makeup. But this is not the story of La Catrina. Let's borrow the time stone from the Avengers to travel back to the 16th century after Spanish conquered Mexico. All people were encouraged to honor the dead on All Souls Day, which later became the Day of the Dead, which was a mixture of Catholic and indigenous beliefs. Devotees of Santa Muerte began to recognize her as the reincarnation of Mictlantecuhtli, who was the Aztec goddess of death and the underworld that would preside over the festival of death every August. Due to these claims, the Catholic Church would denounce Santa Muerte and would do this repeatedly over the years under the lead up of the Day of the Dead, and says that Santa Muerte is considered to be an insult to the Christian faith rather than being an extended part of it. Therefore, Santa Muerte would become a symbol that would represent disaster, decaying, and demonic affiliation at the Vatican. So Santa Muerte became her own entity and is largely popular in Mexico even today. And not even just in Mexico, but also in some parts of the United States as well. Those that worshipped Santa Muerte are often considered to be in a cult. They would often pray with rosaries at her altars and go on long pilgrimages and offer things like alcohol, cigars, fruit, especially red apples, flowers, and candles on her altars. Those that were in this cult also used magical rituals that were founded by the indigenous people and their practices that were present in Mexico before the Spanish arrived. The first time that Santa Muerte would appear documented in Mexico was in 1797. It was in an Inquisition report on idolatrous practices by indigenous worshippers. But because of the effortless ability to appeal to diverse moral codes and beliefs, Santa Muerte can be found being worshipped by those in the Mexican organized crime scene as well as with sex workers. Devotees will pray for La Santisma or Santa Muerte to cure their illness, make their problems go away, and to watch over their children. But they are strongly advised not to make promises to her that they are unable to keep, or they risk the wrath of Santa Muerte.
What does she need so that I can get a house? What do I gotta give her?
Well, apparently they give her things like...
What do I promise her?
I mean, if you listen to the story, you might hear the things that you
I'll
might...
give her what she wants. If I can get a ding-dang house, she can have my whole whatever it is.
They give her alcohol, cigars, things like that.
Bro,
red apples are a big thing.
She can have so many red apples.
If you would like to give her all the red apples that you can come up with, maybe you will get favored upon.
We live in Nova Scotia. I can come up with a lot of red apples.
Yeah, you totally could. That's very true.
There's a lot of orchards here.
That is so true.
You can go apple picking. I will handpick those apples myself and deliver them.
I bet you she would definitely show you some favor then. In 2003, the Interior Ministry of Mexico decided to add Santa Muerte to their list of registered religions. It wasn't even 2 years later, in 2005, that the ministry would change its mind. They said that since this religion wasn't even able to uphold its own statutes, they decided to strip Santa Muerte of the national status of religion, so then they were no longer able to raise money or own property in Mexico.
Lame.
Right? I know. But, I mean, if they're not able to uphold their own statutes...
I guess that's probably not good.
I feel like that's probably not a good thing. I don't know.
Sounds like a bunch of, like, our friends when we try and, like, do something, we're like, yeah! And then we don't follow through. And
it's
we're
a little disorganized. Yeah, that's why we have a Discord for that now. Yeah. We have an event channel specifically for that now. Only 4 years later, in 2009, officials then actually acted on this ban. Workers in the city and those in the army bulldozed dozens of shrines around Nuevo Laredo. I apologize if I said that wrong.
Remember, say it with confidence.
Yeah, no, I did. I feel like I did. But I also apologize because if anybody's listening from Mexico right now and I said it wrong, I do apologize. But I think I said it right.
We only have French here. We're doing our best.
It's true. That's true. We don't learn Spanish in Canada. I'm sorry.
I learned Spanish in Dominican.
Did you?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like you actually took lessons when you went on a vacation?
No, I just learned from the locals. Because I was in...
Excuse me?
When I was in
Who
Dominican.
learns from the locals?
I do. Because you need to know important phrases. Like, cerveza.
Okay.
Is beer.
That's fair.
And then esposa is wife. So I could be like, do you have an esposa?
Do you have a wife? I feel like that is also an important question.
Yeah, it was on my list of important questions I needed to know while traveling.
Know the "do you have a" part in Spanish though?
No, I only learned the last part.
I suppose if anybody's asking you esposa, you probably are understanding that.
No, I was asking them.
That's what I mean. That they should
understand
that you're asking if they have one.
Yeah, you got to just say it with a question mark at the end.
Right? Yes.
Esposa. That's how they know it's a question.
I didn't learn that one. I did learn cerveza in Cuba, though.
Yeah, those were probably my two. I mean, other than like my pleases and my thank yous, I learned all of those. My olas, but
That's right. Gracias. Gracias.
Gracias.
Gracias. And de nada.
yeah.
Yeah, those two I know as well.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the extent of my Spanish, though.
Yeah, I learned some more, but I honestly forget it all now because I drank a lot when I was there.
And some of it you probably don't want to say on the air.
No.
Maybe not. Who knows? Find more next time on Nikki's Spanish lessons.
Oh, do not add another accent to my accent list.
Yes, please. If you ever do a story on Mexico, you have to do one with an accent. Why have I been going on about Santa Muerte, you ask? Well, let's get that time stone again and head to the year 2009.
It's recent-ish.
Recent-ish, yes, exactly. Over 10 years, though, so...
That's recent-ish.
I
Okay,
mean-
wait, now, what year are we in? 2021. Mm-hmm. So what kind of life was I living? I was living my mid-20s life, so probably a pretty big disaster.
I was wondering.
I was trying to figure out.
This was after your university years.
Yes, I graduated university in 2010.
Well, no, this is 2009, so technically.
Oh.
I thought you were good at math, Nikki.
Okay. I am
You work
okay.
in finance.
I work in finance, but we also established that I got jobs in finance because I have a marketing degree and I know how to market myself very well in an interview.
No, you're totally right. That's totally fair.
I have a dazzling personality, Megan. Any job I've ever gotten where I get to the interview stage, I've always been offered a job.
That's totally fair.
I just gotta get past them.
And you earn it.
Yeah, and
Every
I just
time.
gotta get past them seeing my resume and being like, she has no experience in this field. And then I'm like, no, wait, just speak to me though.
That's right.
Just talk to me.
As long as you get an interview, you're golden.
Yeah, I'll win you over.
golden. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So anyway, 2009, that was the year before I graduated university. I was living a very party hard life, but doing very well in school. I had scholarships, so I had to maintain those, so
That's
I had
not
to
bad.
maintain GPAs.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
But I was also on the school dance team, and we like to party.
That's fair. You work hard, but play harder.
100%. I had a great time in university. I
That's
don't
awesome.
remember much of what I learned.
You've obviously soaked that into your blood, though, because obviously you're able to use your marketing skills
must
in
have.
every area of your life.
Yeah.
It's just a natural ability that you have.
Yeah.
In 2009, I had literally just moved back to Nova Scotia from Calgary, Alberta.
Oh.
And I was domesticated, like almost engaged and ready to settle down and moved into my own place with this person. And yeah, we were talking
Not
about
anymore.
having kids. Nope, definitely
No.
not anymore. Now I'm living my best life.
Yep.
Okay, but I digress. Back to the story. Silvia Meraz Marino was born in 1968 in Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico. She didn't come from a rich household. In fact, her and her family lived in poverty. When she was only 16 years old, she would give birth to her first child, a son, named Raymond Omar Palacios Meraz. She would go on to have 3 more children with her husband, Martin Baron Lopez. These children's names were Ivan Martin, Francisca Magdalena, and Georgina Guadalupe Baron Meraz.
Those are beautiful.
Aren't they beautiful names?
I like those names.
Absolutely. I am in love with every Spanish and Mexican name that I've ever heard in my life. At the age of 29, Silvia would have her last daughter, whom she would name after herself, Silvia Yahera. The town around this family took pity on them as they continued to live in poverty in shacks. The government and local churches offered them free food, used clothing, and farm animals to help them survive. The men of the family had been designated as the trash men, for they were known to dig through trash all over town to look for food or valuables. Many of the women were suspected as being sex workers. Silvia Meraz would then divorce her first husband, Martin, and then start dating a man who was 5 years younger than her. His name was Eduardo Sanchez Urrieta. Silvia Meraz believed in Santa Muerte so completely that she was motivated by delirious ideas that she would be able to receive gifts and protection from this saint of death if she were to offer favors to her. So Silvia Meraz would then take up this leader position in her, quote, religion called Santa Muerte. She would also gain 8 followers in this cult. They were all members of her family, including 4 of her 5 children. Ramon Omar, Francisca Magdalena, Georgina Guadalupe, and Silvia Meraz. Her father, Cipriano Meraz, her partner, Eduardo Sanchez, and a woman named Zoila Heda Santa Cruz Iquiri, who was Silvia's daughter-in-law. So we're going back to 2009, in December of 2009 to be exact. Silvia Meraz and her 55-year-old friend, Cleotilde Romero Pacheco, were walking together one day when Silvia told Cleotilde to pick up a 20 peso note from the ground. When Cleotilde bent down to pick it up, Silvia took the opportunity to strike her in the neck with an axe.
Oh, how did she just have an axe?
There were no clear indications about how this actually happened, but I'm guessing they were very close to something where she could hide it, or she happened to have it and was walking behind her.
Or she has video game physics and all of her weapons are just magically stored, and she just had to reach back and she pulled out an axe.
She had to equip it first.
Yeah.
And then she was able to use it. That's probably more likely the case.
I'm going to go with that. That's my headcanon.
I think that's the only way to really describe it. So this type of a case in Mexico is not very well reported on. So all the reports were extremely minimal details. They didn't explain anything in extreme detail.
It's okay, I'll fill it in for you.
No, please fill it in for me, because that would be great. This would be Silvia's first victim and her first offering to Santa Muerte so she could gain protection for her and her family. To complete the ritual, Silvia would later burn and bury the decapitated body somewhere near where the family lived. In June 2010, 10-year-old Martin Rios Sanchez Urrieta would disappear from Nacozari de Garcia, Mexico, which is a small copper mining town near the Arizona border. I have read reports that Martin was either Eduardo Sanchez's biological son, or at least the son of the ex-girlfriend of Eduardo, or a son-in-law of a sect member. The reports are honestly 50-50, so I'm really not sure.
So choose your own adventure.
That's right, exactly, yes. No one in the small town paid much attention when this boy went missing, most likely due to the fact that Martin had a biological mother who lived elsewhere. On March 6, 2011, Jesus Octavio Martinez Yanez, another 10-year-old boy, was reported missing from his home in Nacozari de Garcia. Now things were starting to get a little more suspicious, as now there were two 10-year-old boys that were missing in the same area. Also, both of these boys had one thing in common. They would frequently visit 44-year-old Silvia Meraz, as Silvia was Jesus's step-grandmother. At the time of Jesus's disappearance, Silvia was already under the suspicion from the authorities for running a prostitution ring from her home. There was an unusual amount of strange men passing through, but the prosecutors didn't have enough evidence to prove this was the case. The investigation officially started after Jesus was reported missing by his mother and her boyfriend. The authorities initially said that Jesus may have been kidnapped by human traffickers due to the witnesses saying that they saw him near the Arizona border begging in the street. I've heard that time is a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. So, 2 years after the first boy went missing, in March 2012, investigators finally had the evidence they needed to search Silvia Meraz's house. I say it that way because there is no evidence in the reports or any articles or journals that I have read that indicates why it was 2 years later, but
they were probably just building their case.
They were building their case for sure. I just don't understand. They didn't say what it was that actually. I am an evidence person. I love to read why they were able to finally have the opportunity to do a full investigation and to do a search of the house, but it didn't say in anything I've read anywhere. So I read 30 stories and it still didn't say. I know, it was crazy. They really tried to
maybe they're keeping it tight to
the
chest, though. It could be evidence in an important case, or
it could be. Yeah, that's very true. Yep, I'm not going to discount that the police did their job. They definitely did, and they had the authority to do the search on the house. So I assume it is legit. I just don't know the reason why. That's all. So I can't communicate that to you guys. They would find the body of Jesus Martinez under the dirt floor in Silvia's youngest daughter's bedroom.
Ew.
The other two bodies of Clotilde Romero Pacheco and Martin Rios were discovered by the state police during an unrelated investigation in an unpopulated area northeast of Nacazari near the Meraz's house. When investigators went to examine the area, they discovered what appeared to be an altar dedicated to Santa Muerte, a skeleton figure who was holding a scythe and clothed in flowing robes. Forensics revealed traces of blood spread over 30 square meters around the altar.
Oh, wow.
30 square meters. That is a pretty far distance, in my personal opinion.
That's a lot of blood.
It is a lot of blood. And that will be explained shortly.
I just accepted it.
You did. You didn't even question why there were 30 square feet of blood at this point.
We're so deep into the true crime world. I'm like, yes.
Sorry, I said 30 square feet, but I meant 30 square meters.
Yeah, because we're Canadian.
I don't know. I mean, meters, feet. I don't know. Feet is what I would measure things in.
If you're doing squared, I would say feet.
Squared, yes.
As someone who's trying to buy a house, everything is in square feet.
That's so true. I never even thought about that.
That's the first thing I look at. How many bedrooms,
right.
How many bathrooms, and how many square feet?
That's right.
I am not paying $350,000 for 1,300 square feet.
1,300? Oh my God, no.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to.
You do in this market.
No. Oh my God, the market is so bad here right now.
It's insane.
Oh my God. Okay.
Everyone is going to hear me preach about trying to buy a house until I get a house.
This is definitely going down in history of the Grimdark Diaries because Nikki
and then
needs to buy a
afterwards,
house.
it'll probably be me lamenting of having to move, and
exactly.
everyone's going to join me on this journey. So I hope you're ready to follow me through my first house buying journey.
Strap in, folks.
Yeah.
You're in for a long journey.
Yeah, and then when I discover I don't have a ghost, I'm going to be very sad. So I need you there with me. I need support.
Even if we have to make it up, it's got to happen.
I can get a Ouija board.
Oh my gosh, no.
No, I don't want to summon one.
No.
I want one that comes with the house.
Yeah. Please don't summon any demons or anything.
No,
you don't know what's coming through.
I'm going to sage it before I move in.
That's smart, actually.
Although I might have a sage allergy, so I might need somebody else to sage it.
Of course you have a sage allergy.
I don't know.
Oh, Nikki.
I'm unsure at this point. I have a lot of allergies.
Have you tried it? Like, how do you know? How do you feel
It's in
that
the
way?
mint family.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that. And you're allergic to mint.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
And same lavender. I'm allergic to lavender.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Lavender's in the mint family. You want to know how I learned that?
Oh, God.
Playing Jackbox, and it was in that murder trivia game.
Really?
Yeah, I got the answer wrong. And it was like, what one of these is in the mint family? And I didn't recognize any of them as being in the mint family. And I'm like, well, I'm about to learn something I'm allergic to right now. And it was lavender.
Have you smelt or been around lavender?
I can smell it. I just can't have it on my skin.
Oh, it's
and
like
it made
touch.
sense because I have to buy, everything I buy for my skin has to be all natural, like organic, because I have so many allergies to so many things.
Right.
And lavender is a great thing for your skin, so it's often in all natural organic things. And I would buy them, and then I'd have a reaction, and I'd be like, what is wrong with this?
Right.
I paid the extra money, I got the organic, I got all natural, why can't I have this on my skin? And it was because it had lavender.
Lavender! And that is natural, so of course you're gonna still feel the effects from it if you're allergic. Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Yeah, I live a rough life.
That sucks! I'm sorry to hear that, Nikki.
Yeah, I don't really miss it.
No, that's fair. No, I mean, really, it's good for if you want to have a good night's sleep. You smell it and, like, dream well.
Yeah, I don't like flowery smells.
I'm not a big fan of flowery smells either.
No, I like vanilla. Mm-hmm. And, well, depending on what it is. Like, if I have, like, those plugins in my house and I want them all to smell like baked goods. So they're, like, cinnamon, vanilla, caramel.
Walking into your house before an event is literally one of the best smells of life.
Like, I am very obsessed with making my house smell good, or my apartment.
So much, yes. I love the berry smells. I'm a very big, mixed berry smells and stuff. All my Scentsy things that I have going are always like a warm smelling berry smell.
I like berries. I like tropical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are my smells.
Well, if anyone would like to, get us smell things,
That's right.
You know the smells we like now.
Someday we're going to open up a P.O. box and we'd love to get fan mail and fan drawn photos and whatever you want to offer us. We would love to feature it on the show and on our Instagram, everything. Like, yes, someday we will get there. We are very close. We're close. Yeah. I think. I'm very excited about this future with this podcast. I love it so much.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of fun recording it too. I'm not done my story, so I need to get back to it.
Megan, stay on track.
I know. I'm literally going off track right now.
The lovely listeners don't know how late at night it is right now.
But you and your husband do.
It's true.
Okay, I'm very close to being finished, so we will continue. On March 29th, 2012, these 8 followers of Santa Muerte were arrested for the ritualistic murders of these 3 innocent victims. The interrogations were all over the place. Some of the 7 cult members arrested even confessed and sold out the rest of the family. After the arrest, more details started to come out about these ritualistic killings. These details were macabre. There were slit wrists and throats, blood smeared all over the Santa Muerte altar. Silvia said to the investigators that she had gotten Martin Rios drunk. Who was 10-year-old? He was a 10-year-old boy. She had gotten him drunk, and her youngest daughter, Silvia, she was only 13 years old at the time, and she got Silvia to stab him at least 30 times.
Oh my goodness.
30 times. Can you imagine? 13 years old stabbing a 10-year-old 30 times?
That's very aggressive.
Holy smokes. I can't even wrap my head around that. In a ritual held while he was still alive, his veins were cut and his blood was collected in a container and then spread around the altar. Silvia confessed that she was a practitioner of blood magic and was so convinced that Santa Muerte would bring them money and power. Silvia also recalled that she had held Jesus Martinez in front of the altar while one of her daughters murdered him. The prosecutors made a statement saying that there were 3 children of the ages of 5, 2, and 1 years old who had been involved in some way as well, at the very least being witnesses of the murder of Jesus.
That's a good way to scar a child for life.
I can't. 5, 2, and 1 years old. I mean, maybe the 1 and 2-year-old might not remember that and be okay. But the 5-year-old, I feel like that would stay with them.
Oh, yeah.
It depends on even how traumatic that was, because obviously they were opening his veins and just letting him bleed out. I can't even imagine how a 10-year-old would be reacting to that. Like, he'd probably be screaming and crying. I don't even want to think about it.
No.
But I feel like that would stick with them, even if it were subconsciously. Zoila Santa Cruz's daughter advised that Silvia had threatened to kill them if they did not participate in the crimes. The children who were murdered were beheaded in the rituals to Santa Muerte. The Meraz family believed that their human sacrifices would bring them protection and a fortune. Jose Larinaga was a spokesperson for the Sonora Attorney General's office. He said that, quote, they thought that by offering the blood, they would be protected for some time. According to them, Santa Muerte was going to tell them where the money was. End quote. Silvia Meraz was given a prison sentence of 180 years in prison, while the rest of the cult members were given 60 years.
Even the children?
Well, the youngest daughter, Silvia, who was only 15 years old at the time of their capture, and 13 years old at the time of their murders, she was sentenced to a youth detention center. So I don't know how long they would keep her. I think at a youth detention center, they kind of like keep them until they are rehabilitated. I don't actually know. It didn't elaborate on that. According to psychological evaluations, though, Silvia appears to be developing normally. The media had been quite restrained in covering this incident. These murders have undoubtedly caused major consequences for this particular strain of religion in North America. But it was widely said that the Meraz family has consistently been described as a cult, which implied that there was an organized religious movement. During the trial, the state police took this a step further by referring to Santa Muerte as a satanic sect. Devotees of Santa Muerte would claim that they are not Satanists, and many consider themselves to be Catholic, contrary to the Catholic Church denouncing Santa Muerte many times over the centuries. When news first broke about this case in 2012, there were many reports that this was a New Mexican version of the Satanic Panic movement. At the time of the murders in 2012, there were thought to be more than 2 million followers of Santa Muerte in Mexico. As of 2016 and 2017, the latest census, I'm saying in quotations because I don't know if they really do a census about this, but the information I found online shows that there are roughly 12 million or more followers of Santa Muerte.
Oh, wow.
Who is considered to be the fastest growing new religious movements in the world. Surprisingly, the saint owes her recent rise to fame to a spike in an unsettling factor, crime. In the last couple of decades, the rise in deaths due to drug-related activities in Mexico has skyrocketed. With death looming around every corner, citizens have taken to the presence of Santa Muerte more closely as a necessary part of their life and survival. She is considered to be reassuring to them in their everyday lives. Death does not discriminate, and so it is known that it can come for anyone at any time. I really enjoyed this quote from a site that I was researching on that basically said that if we are willing to accept that not all Beatles fans are Charlie Manson, then we must also have faith that not all who pray to Santa Muerte are Silvia Meraz.
Ooh.
That quote really hit hard for me because I've known about the Charlie Manson case and I understand what that's all about, but I didn't realize that there were a lot of people who kind of said, if you're a Beatles fan, you're kind of a Charlie Manson fan. But apparently that is partially true. And in this particular
You mean that
case,
people think that, not that it's true?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that
You were
it's true.
just about to get your own batch of hate mail, Megan.
No, I do not believe it's true in any way, shape, or form. I do believe that people do believe that that may be the case. But I do also believe that there is a lot of hate online if you don't know what Santa Muerte is. If you are kind of reading about it and you kind of think, oh, it's only worshipped if you are a criminal or if you are organized crime or if you're a sex worker or whatever the case may be. But in Mexico, they have such a different view about death. And I actually love it. I love the way that they view death down there. Their Day of the Dead, where I don't know every detail about it, but I know that they love to get together once a year and they celebrate the death of the people who have died because they're basically remembering who they were in life.
I know, but that sentence just killed me.
Okay, I know.
You're celebrating the death of the people that died, as opposed to the death of the living.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's the wine talking.
I was really with you until that sentence.
But really,
I know
what I'm
you were
trying to say
Yes.
is they're celebrating the life of people who were alive that have since died. So they're celebrating those lives. And the Day of the Dead is about bringing those lives back to their current day so they can celebrate those people. And they celebrate them. They don't mourn for them. And maybe they do in their own way, but it's a celebration. It's a festival. They make light of it. Like they make it a big thing that is just a happy and joyful occasion. And that really, we don't do that here. We mourn for those people who have passed. We cry. We focus on the negative and we focus on the grief that it causes us here. I don't know. It's so different. It's such a different culture. I can't even wrap my head around it, but it's the same thing for the Santa Muerte. She is the saint of death. So doesn't matter. She just doesn't discriminate. It's not just organized crime. It's not just sex workers. It's not just any kind of things. She doesn't discriminate. So there's the LGBTQ plus community that is also a huge part of the Santa Muerte community. They call it a cult because it doesn't fit in with the Catholic religion, and the Catholic religion has denounced them. But personally, I don't really care about that. I'm not Catholic. I am a Christian, but I'm not Catholic, so I don't care about what the Catholic says. It doesn't mean that's what goes, you know what I mean? It's what people believe and how they feel about these certain things and what it means to them and how they move forward with those. If they have someone who passes away in their life and this is what helps them grieve and this is what helps them move on and this is what helps them celebrate life in the afterlife, then by all means, yes, do it. This is amazing. Whether this particular object brings them fortune or protection or anything like that.
A new house.
If it brings them a new house, to each his own. If it brings them a new house, great. I am all for it. I don't know if the protection or the things that they offer as sacrifices or anything like that. You know what I mean? I don't know if that actually happens for real. I would assume that they've offered sacrifices or they've offered alcohol or cigars or whatever they have left at the altar. And then all of a sudden they get blessed with something in their own personal life. They probably believe.
The Dark Tourist show on Netflix?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you should watch that.
Really?
I'm pretty sure there's an episode on this.
Really?
You haven't seen it?
No.
You would love it.
I know nothing about it.
Oh, it's this host. He's from New Zealand. His name is David Ferrier.
Okay.
I believe is how you pronounce it. He's the most adorable thing you will ever
Really?
see. He's like this skinny little lanky New Zealander, and he's just very adorable. He's so sweet and gentle, and he travels the world to places where there's like what you call dark tourism.
Okay.
So he goes down to Mexico and he, checks out the Day of the Dead ceremonies, and I believe this literal exact thing.
Really?
There's an entire episode. Yeah,
He
checks out the different crazy kind of dark tours you can go on or dark rituals across the world, and some of it is extremely dangerous. Like he goes to places where there's nuclear radiation and you can go on tours. Yeah. He goes to that forest, I believe in Japan, where everybody goes to kill themselves.
Oh my god, the suicide forest.
Yeah.
Oh,
he goes there.
Really?
Yeah, but it's very well done. It's on Netflix. I believe it's still on there.
Okay.
It's one season. It's very well done.
Oh, I've never heard of this before.
And it's such a juxtaposition because it's all of these very dark, intense things.
Okay.
And he's literally the last person you would picture there, but it makes it for the best show.
Really?
Because he's so sweet and so unassuming, and you're like, oh, I just want to cradle you.
That's adorable.
Yeah, and I believe he goes there and he gives some money and booze and stuff.
I wonder if he pulls a lot of his work from Atlas Obscura. Have you ever heard of that before?
Yes.
There's so many weird and just unrecognizable cultural differences in every part of the world. And this website that I was only recently referred to this website. It's called Atlas Obscura. And this site talks about the weirdest, amazing, incredible, different, just whatever adjective you want to add to that, cultural differences that we have compared to those places and highlight them. But there's so many different things that you can look up on there that are just so out of this world that you wouldn't even imagine that it is something that is a part of this world, that is so far from our own cultural, societal understanding that you actually feel like are outer worldly or whatever.
Space? We're going to space?
It actually feels like it's from outer space more so than it is from just across the pond kind of thing, right?
Megan, I found something.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I've been waiting all night to tell you because I was so excited.
You have been keeping me in suspense all night about this thing that you wanted to tell me about.
I didn't want to distract from your story. But, okay, Megan and I have maybe thrown around the idea of doing not just true crime, but maybe some supernatural thing, because that's our tagline, all things dark and disturbing.
That's right.
So we've discussed it before, and don't get too excited yet. We got a lot on our plate. But then I was speaking with my husband and he was like, oh, and he's like, you have to get a cool intro for those ones, how you have a different one. And then because of last week's episode, he was like, he's pretty good at doing how poor my accents are. His accents are very good, and he's very good at imitating voices.
Your Irish accent was actually really good.
I practiced for days, and
that was amazing.
Subpar, but
you are not giving yourself enough credit for that.
He was like, maybe I can learn the Crypt Keeper accent. No. So I can introduce you guys, and that can be your opening. And I was like, well, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. So then we went down this rabbit hole he then suggested, he was like, wait, he's like, we have to find the voice actor of the Crypt Keeper and see if they have Cameo.
Oh my god.
Do you know what Cameo is?
Yes, I do.
So for anyone that doesn't know, Cameo is basically, you can get recorded messages from celebrities. There's all kinds of different, authors, actors, voice actors, podcasters. You get a recorded message for them, whether you want them to wish a happy birthday or a voicemail or whatever
personalized.
it is. Yeah.
All personalized.
Yeah.
To
So
you
pay them and they record you. Sometimes sometimes it's just voice or voice and video, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So then we found the voice actor for the Crypt Keeper.
Really?
Yeah. And he has cameo.
Oh, shit! Are you serious?
Yeah, he does. And then he does things as the Crypt Keeper.
No!
And I was in tears.
Were you like shivering all over your body? You were like all over
I was
it.
like my dream man right here. But because then I was like, this is the greatest idea ever. I'm going to pay him his fee to make us an opening. But then I realized he definitely can't do that because there's copyright issues. So because he's using the Crypt Keeper voice, like
fair,
he can't do a grim dark opening for us. But I was and I almost bought you one. Just
I would have fucking died. That's amazing.
I know, but spoilers, I didn't.
Okay, well that's fair, but also like he has a cameo.
He totally has a cameo,
even if we got
and it's
something.
good. He goes like all in.
Really?
Yeah.
I would love to hear him do something. It doesn't even have to be an intro for us.
Yeah,
but something.
because you know how in like the Crypt Keeper show, like the cartoon and stuff, he was very punny and very play on words and stuff like that. He does that in his messages.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he was doing one, it was like a birthday greeting for somebody, and it was just like, just making plays on like being dead, and like it was...
I loved the Crypt Keeper so much. Like, I feel like we were a special breed of child because I don't think many children watched the Crypt Keeper growing up.
Oh, it was so good.
He was so funny.
He was so clever.
So funny. Oh my god, I loved his sense of humor.
Yeah.
And how he brought the creepy and humor together as one, which is what we're trying to do in our podcast.
100%.
Like, I feel like we kind of were raised by it, so now we're trying to live that
definitely
legend.
Destined to be with the Crypt Keeper. And then I got on watching Crypt Keeper. It's all on YouTube. You can find episodes. Yeah, you can find...
I didn't know that.
Well, not all of it, but you can find episodes on YouTube.
I didn't know.
Yeah, so then I was watching the Crypt Keeper.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's
Love of my life, Crypt Keeper.
Oh my god.
Someday we will be reunited.
I love it so much.
I'm gonna buy one of his cameos.
Oh my gosh. I need to have a cameo of the Crypt Keeper.
He even has like, because he does his video, he has a little cardboard cutout of his head, of the Crypt Keeper's head, and he like floats it by the camera as he's doing it. It's good. He's very good. He's very good at what he does.
Even if we had him like shout out our show or something like that. Or
I don't know if
like,
he will.
But even
There's
something
copyright issues.
That's fair, yeah.
Because then it would essentially be him advertising for us, and then if we turned out to be awful people, he would be like,
totally fair.
Well,
or if we ended up becoming like super popular and famous, then he might come after us.
Exactly.
For, like,
and spoilers, we have no money, so please,
we don't have any money.
I'm trying to buy a house.
So true.
Megan's trying to move.
I'm just trying to find a rental property. This city is ridiculous. It has no rental properties anywhere. You can't buy a house anywhere. Like, it's actually been in the news that there's less than 1% rental rates in this city. You can't find anything anywhere. It's just crazy.
If somebody would like
Stop moving here.
Yeah, I have a really nice apartment, and I will gladly give it to anyone as long as they help me find a house. It's beautiful. My apartment is large.
I would move there if that's where I was looking, but I'm not looking there. So I'm sorry, Nikki. I would love to take your place.
But... help me find a house.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay.
Well, that's enough house ranting.
Yeah, we're going to end that
sorry,
chat.
everybody.
It's okay. It's all good. Okay, Nikki, it is your turn to roll.
It's my turn.
For your next category.
I'm hoping for something higher than a 10 on this.
That's right.
It is. I forgot to bring my own die, though, so I'm about to put my bad juju on your die.
It's all good.
Oh, a 4. We're never going to make it into the top of this list.
We literally have been like in the top 7, I think. I don't think we've
made it past. I know, and there's some categories in the lower half that I really want to do.
If this is not perfect for you, I don't know what it is.
It's because I created this category.
It's so true.
It is I'm a Survivor.
Sung like Destiny's Child.
Yeah, and I sang it exactly like totally Beyonce.
100%.
I specifically put an asterisk. So the title is I'm a Survivor, and then I put an asterisk, sung like Destiny's Child.
Nikki is literally Destiny's Child, like Beyonce in the making.
That's who I pray to. I know that you're a Christian.
I believe it. No, it's fine. You believe who you want to believe.
I pray to Beyonce. My Lord and Savior, Beyonce.
Right. And she dances exactly like her. Like, if you ever wanted to see a Beyonce concert, you need to watch Nikki in her action, because she literally dances just like her.
Aww.
I don't know how you sing, but like...
we've discussed You've just heard my rendition of I'm a Survivor.
Yeah, but you're literally like... Well, one, you're 2 drinks in, so we know you're pretty good right now.
I haven't stood up yet. Really,
No,
so I am fine.
I'm sorry, that's actually funny. It's so true though, like, but you also, your dance moves, you did this thing with 2 guys at HellCon a few years ago.
Yes.
And what was the song called again?
Single Ladies.
Single Ladies, thank you. I always get it wrong because I'm always like, put a ring on it.
Yeah.
I'm always
so
like.
it was, they had a local, or like a convention. They had a lip sync competition, and they asked me to be a competitor in it, and I humbly agreed. And then I asked, because I was entered in the individual category, so I asked if there were any rules against backup dancers, and they said as long as they didn't sing. So then I got...
Sing? You mean lip sync?
Lip sync.
Right.
As long as they were not lip syncing.
That's right.
I could have backup dancers, because every Beyonce needs their backup dancers.
That's right.
So I did... Single Ladies, and 2 guy friends were my backup dancers, and they wore the little bodysuits from the Single Ladies, and one was Superman, and we got him a little Superman crest and a cape, and one was Batman, and he wore the bat symbol and his cowl, and I was in a little Wonder Woman bodysuit, and we did the full Single Ladies.
I love this so much. This is one of my favorite things of all time. Is Nikki and her 2 backup dancers and doing the Single Ladies dance. Like,
it wasn't like a clip. Like, we literally did the entire
song.
It took me a couple of weeks, and I taught them the entire music video.
Yeah. You choreographed it.
I did.
You did an amazing job.
I ripped the choreo from the music video
listen,
and then taught them. I did not choreograph.
No, listen, if you can actually rip it from a video, kudos to you.
I wanted it to be accurate. I needed to do good for my Queen Bey. Someday you will all get to see that video.
I can't wait.
Subscribe to our future Patreon that is not
That's right.
live yet, but
we can totally put that on there.
We have dreams.
Yes.
Highest tier.
Yeah, definitely. And we can see, like, maybe the biggest bloopers of the Meg Dramata channel.
Ooh.
I have some pretty big bloopers on there. So you can get lots of crazy content on the Patreon account. So I highly recommend keeping that on your radar for when we finally post that.
If you want to follow us on social media, you can find us at The Grimdark Diaries on Instagram and Facebook, as well as Grimdark Diaries on Twitter. If you want to send us an email, we're at thegrimdarkdiaries@gmail.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing, liking the episode, or giving us a 5-star rating on whatever podcast platform you follow, as it's going to help us to get our podcast out there. Join us next week to see what I come up with for I'm a Survivor. And remember, a friend in the dark beats alone in the light.